So my first job is to condition the flowers that I've got so they can have a really good drink, and I know they're going to be in tip-top condition, ready for arranging with. So what I'm going to start with first is actually the pot plant. So I'm going to come down, it's all, it's as if I was cutting this direct from the garden and coming down really low and snipping off the stems I need. Now, because my arrangement is going to be tiny, there's not much space in my teacup, I don't need many very large pieces of flower or greenery, so I shall set that down into there. I probably only need that one floret. And then with my rose here, I'm going to cut a variety of sizes of rose, so they are all still quite small, but for instance this rose here and this one over here are much smaller than the others, so I just want to get a variation in size. And the same thing, so I come right down into the bottom of the pot and cut my stem down. And this one has got lots of prickles on, so I'm having to be careful. And I'm pinching off the greenery here because I don't want that in my arrangement. It won't last very well. And I just need to slide that into I've just got a little drinking glass here filled with water. And I shall come in for perhaps one of the slightly bigger roses, this one here. Again, coming right down into the plant. And I'm going to perhaps aim for 3 roses. Cut off the excess greenery. Slide that into my little vase, my little tumbler there, and then I'm going to use this bud here. So it's just nice to get a variation in size in your materials and just make your arrangement more visually appealing. So moving on then to my calanchoe that's been growing for a couple of years, I'm going to cut some stems here and use those as greenery inside my arrangement. So again, I'm going to come right down low into the pot. Hopefully that'll encourage some fresh growth. And I might take 2 stems here. That was quite a large one, and perhaps one of these smaller ones here. Again, just so I've got a variation in size. And what I will do here is take off the lower leaves, because I don't want those to be in the little glass of water. But also these leaves are yellowing a bit, and I can pinch off those. So I've just got the really vibrant green growth there. So those flowers are just sitting in that drinking glass, taking up water, and I'll leave them there to sit and drink while I get the rest of my materials ready. So coming on to my flowers, I've bought these from the supermarket, so they have been wrapped in cellophane, and I will slide my scissors up into the cellophane packaging and get rid of that. And I shall do the same to the Lisianthus. I'm being careful not to snip through the flower food. That's in a sachet here, and it just is a bit sticky if you do accidentally pierce the sachet, but I will use the flower food. So push it down to one end, reading the instructions. So this says, fill a clean vase with 1 litre in water and add the contents of this flower food. Cut off 2 centimetres diagonally from the base of the stems and remove leaves below the water line. So I shall follow those instructions, cut the sachet off, and I've got to one side an old vase, or you could use a bucket, just something that's watertight that you can put your flowers in so they can drink while you're preparing. Give that a bit of a swish around. So as I come to condition my flowers, let's move the Lisianthus out of the way for a moment. I'm going to cut away the elastic band, and then I will take away some of this green here. Now probably I could have just recut the stems, and because they're quite bare down here, they weren't going to be in the water. But what I want to make sure is that the water goes direct to the flower head, and in reality I'm probably going to be able to use the top section of the flower because the vase is the teacup is so tiny that I'm not going to have lots of extra green in the arrangement. So working my way through, you could do it individually like that, and then to recut the stems at an angle. And once you've got into the flow, put those into the vase, you could speed things up a little bit, and just very gently I could remove all those bits of green, those leaves at the same time. You just need to be reasonably careful that you're not accidentally damaging your flowers or ripping the leaves off the stem and making a gash down the side of the stem. But that does speed things up a little bit. And then recut the stems at an angle and going diagonally so the flowers can stand up on tiptoe. in the vase. And then I shall move these green leaves away and put those in the compost heap. And then back to my Lysianthus. So these are really quite long flowers. They must be about 40 centimetres long and quite large leaves. So take off the leaves, they're looking a bit bedraggled, and then recut the stem at an angle there and put those in. So I'm not arranging them in the vase, I am merely putting them in my old vase so they can sit and drink and rest. So I know they're going to be in peak condition for when I put my flowers into the flower frame and make my little arrangement. So picking off all the bits of green, giving the flowers a shake to separate them. If there are any obvious flowers that look like they're not looking their best, I could pinch those off just so I've got everything in really tip-top condition. So. Then bundle those together and start cutting through the stems at an angle. And then they will sit in the vase as well. So I shall just tidy up and then come back to you.